Former British Prime Minister Winston Churchill is considered one of the greatest figures of 20th century. Many believe that he was the one who persuaded the United States to take part in the Second World War and offer a joint front to the fascist leader of Germany, Nazi leader of Germany, and fascist forces as well. He was the one who sensed the danger that was posed by the Nazi party and Hitler, and he went to the extent of allying with the Soviet Union despite having reservation and despite initially opposing the communist revolution in that country, because he thought for the greater good of the world it was important to defeat Hitler and his racist ideology. He was also the one who could sense the danger in the aftermath of Second World War that was posed by the Soviet Union, and he could figure out that this country would emerge as a totalitarian state, and the appalling massacres that took place in the Soviet Union allegedly, or the killings of the dissidents and opponents of the revolution, according to some critics, vindicated Churchill, and he was right in the uniting all democratic forces against the Soviet Union in the aftermath of Second World War, and persuading United States to lead this world. But there are critics who believe that Churchill was an outright racist who firmly believed in subjugating other races, and he was not apologetic for uh, alleged, human rights violation, or genocides, or the oppression that was perpetrated by British colonial empire or colonial governments of other countries. For instance, they say that he did not make any mention of the genocides that was perpetrated by Leopold government in Belgium, Congo, by the king of Congo. We do not find much mention of that massacre and the type of atrocities that were perpetrated there. Similarly, British colonial atrocities that were allegedly committed in India, Kenya, and other parts of the world, they were not mentioned either. And then those who romanticize Churchill and his legacy believe that he was a genius guy, a visionary leader. But on the other hand, there are critics who believe that he failed perhaps once or twice in his exam, and it was only his family connection and influence that ensured a position in the British Army for him. In the same way, while some believe that he was the one who made it possible for the UK and the free world to win the Second World War, there are others who believe that it was basically the Soviet Union that defeated the Nazi government, losing more than 27 million lives, and the biggest battle that was ever fought during that time was, of course, in Soviet Union during the Operation Barbarossa. Then it is also said that Churchill was extremely popular during the wartime, and his role was crucial in the victory of the UK. But there are others who believe that that was not the case, and the cult of Churchill was created during the time of Falkland War, and it was in reality popularized by former Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. And one of the British historians, Tariq Ali, said that a leading historian of the UK addressed somewhere in the country in the aftermath of Second World War, and nowhere did he mention or make any mention of Churchill. And his military failures in some parts of the world is also mentioned, especially Dardanelles, where many critics believe that his military strategy was catastrophic. There are also some failures that are mentioned during the Boer Wars, and his racist attitude is also mentioned. For instance, it is alleged that he considered Pakhtun beast, especially those from northwest frontier province of Pakistan, which is known as Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and he was rabidly anti-tribal people in that part of the world. In the same way, he was very contemptuous towards Gandhi, and some Indian historians and some other commentators of politics and history believe that he was partly responsible, or his policies were responsible for the famines that happened in India, or at least the appalling deaths that occurred during those famines. So there are those who support him, who consider him that he was a hero, and they think that his legacy is wonderful, and that his character assassination should not be tolerated, and his demonization should not be accepted. But there are others who believe that he was an outright racist who wanted to subjugate other races, and who wanted to maintain empire at all cost. Um, uh, the people who defend his racist comments, they say that he has to be seen in the objective reality and objective conditions of this time. The problem arises when we try to analyze Winston Churchill in 21st century, ignoring the facts surrounding the situation at that time. So if there are some negative comments or negative thoughts, or some statement which are condemned in modern times, should be seen in the context of objective realities of that time. However, those historians do not justify those comments. They only say that they should be seen in the objective realities of that time. So there are people who heap eulogies on Churchill, romanticizing his legacy, and but there are others who thinks that such figures should not be romanticized, and that their real face should be exposed.